Good Friday morning. Hey, this is Ice HCV, and what are we doing today, right? Oh my goodness. My life's adventures of cars. Could I make a movie out of it? I mean, if you heard all the stories of all the cars I've owned, and I'm not embellishing because I'm just a car addict. Like I said, a Caraholics Anonymous. I thought about that years ago, just buying cars all the time for what, right? But hey, so let's just get to the point, right? So it's Ice HCV Day, Give Up More Cars Day. So see this beautiful Bronco? It's going back. Why? Because the dealership's going to pay me 10 grand more than I paid for it. The Ford F-150 Lightning, I actually last night stripped it out of the bed cover and tonneau, bed rug and tonneau cover. So that's now on my F-150 Raptor truck. And this is now naked again. Ooh, naked. Word of the day. So what's going on? So now this is the challenge. I've got to get this truck. Hopefully the Mach 1 starts up. Taking that back. They're basically paying me what I paid for this car. When do you ever buy a Mustang? A Mustang. I'm not talking about a GT500 Shelby product. I'm talking about a Mustang. And they pay you what you paid for it when you bought it. Yeah, how often does that happen? So there's 1, 2, right? And then we've got number 3. I'm getting confused here, thinking to myself now, 4 vehicles. Is that right? I think I'm confused this morning. It's too early. So we've got the Toyota Avalon going back. We've got the Bronco going back. We've got okay, I'm right. It's too early. I haven't had my coffee. So 2 in the garage are going back. 2 outside are going back. So that's a project. So hopefully we're going to get 2 over this morning. My daughter's going to drive the Bronco. The gentleman that works for me is going to drive the F-150 Lightning. Then we're going to come back and get the Mach 1 and Avalon. So if I don't get any help from dealership, it'll be a long day of just driving back and forth because the dealership is an hour away from me in Baltimore, and it's Friday, and everybody and their brother is out and about. So, well, hey, follow me along as I get all this stuff out of the cars and share my stories for the, what is this? This is going to be the 4 for car day, the 4 give back, but in all reality, I will give them back 6 vehicles in the end, just over me buying this Raptor. So 6 for 1, the 6 for 1 deal, is that what we call it? Yeah, all right, guess what I'm gonna drive? I get to drive the Raptor, right? not the TRX Trek. A lot of my Mopar buddies listen to that, huh? Wow, neat. I like it. Yeah, a lot of my Mopar buddies are like, they're just like, oh, I can't believe you're buying another Ford Raptor, But it's unfortunate. I honestly feel like a lot of them never have driven the Raptor, which I know they haven't. And I know the TRX has the Hellcat motor to be, Mr. Badass. But I've driven the Hellcat TRX, and yeah, I mean, it's a fast truck, but it's a truck. I'm going to talk about that a little second here in a second. Well, can you see my little American flag? Got that off my Lightning. It's so funny. I get in the Lightning to pull out of the barn, and I start it up. But you don't start these things up. You electrify them. So I'm waiting for this engine, like this vehicle here, and nothing. I'm kind of like, what's going on here? Where's the noise? You know what I mean? So, all right, the adventure begins. Am I like I have to work today? I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah. If you watched my video from last night, is the kid ready? Kid's saying something. I don't know what's going on. We're leaving.
Why are you taking the Raptor?
How am I going to get back home?
You're taking the Lightning.
Joe's driving the Lightning. The kid's funny. She's a funny kid. Yeah, so she's basically saying, Dad, drive the Lightning over. And then I'd be like, okay. So we get over to the dealership. And I'd look at her and she'd look at me and I'd be like, hey, how are we getting home? Well, we just buy another vehicle. How about that idea? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Buy another vehicle, right? That's what my wife, for my wife, who's lived through all this saga of me buying cars and trucks all the time, and for her, it's it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, for my wife, I've been blessed. First wife didn't work out. That was a 5-year marriage, which that wasn't meant to be, and I was much younger, so I'm sure people have those stories. But second wife, it's been a great marriage, but like any marriage, it's always challenging. But no, my wife's the best because she puts up with my baloney. For a man, if you find a woman that will put up with all your garbage, and the same thing goes for a woman, if you find a man that'll put up with all your garbage, whatever it may be in life, then, you might have the right one. You better keep them, because it's not easy to find somebody to, everybody has their issues in this world. Everybody, I say it all the time. Nobody's perfect. If you think you're perfect, I don't want to hang out with you, because you're not perfect. Sorry. You may think you are, but you're not. So, yeah, I'm not perfect. I know that for sure. But anyways, so, here it is. Even my wife this morning is like, what's going on? She doesn't even know what's going on, because I'm a fast mover. Have you noticed that? Yeah, fast mover to getting my ass in debt, right? Yeah, so anyways, oh, goodness gracious. Yesterday, after being at the dealership, I just really, just for the heck of it, I threw out there to the, general manager, sales manager there. Good guy. Up there, Coons Baltimore Ford, they got a really good crew. And, it's challenging in your car business to make things work and keep everybody happy, or not. But they keep most happy, and that's what all matters. You keep the majority happy, then you're doing okay. So anyway, for the heck of it, yesterday I just said to the GM guy, I said, would you give me 20 grand over on my Ford F-150 Lightning? And he looked at me and said, yep. And so when you hear that type of response, yeah, this guy's not going to play around. And so that was kind of early in the game yesterday when we were negotiating the deal on this Raptor. And so then, when I was ready to leave, I said, what about the Bronco? Did you do 10K over the Bronco? And he said, yep. And I was like, wow. So, but here's the thing, what people understand about, people brag. That's just how we are. That's just our human nature. We embellish, we do all that stuff. And so for me, people are like, oh man, you're going to get 30K out of those two vehicles. Well, yes, I am, but no, I'm not. And so that's where yesterday I kind of had to come to closure what made sense. And, so what you don't realize is the dealership's not going to reimburse me for the sales tax. So being when you buy an $80,000 vehicle, and let's just say a simple number, you spend $5 grand in sales tax, and then, okay, so the Ford F-150 Lightning is really 15 grand they're going to pay me over. They're not going to pay me 25 grand over, because that's what number would have to be if I'm to include the sales tax. So it's not really 20 grand. And the same thing with the Bronco. There's about 3 grand in sales tax on that vehicle as well. So, if you look at it, there's 8 grand just right taken off the tip of the top, of 30K to, now you're at 22K. So, for anybody watching my video, I'm sure like, oh man, this guy's going to cash out 30K. And that's what I tell people all the time. I was telling people all the time, say, hey, you should sell your car. You should sell your car, and you're going to make a bunch of money off it. I'm like, you're not, because if you pay sales tax, if a guy offers you 10 grand more than you actually paid for the car, listen to my words, what you actually paid for the car, that's one thing. Guy offers you 10K more than what the MSRP is on it, and that's how people operate. A guy's going to say, well, if I go to the Ford dealership, that car would be $80,000, so I'll pay you 90. Okay, well, yeah, so for me, I just made $5,000. It's not like it's not any money, but at the same time, whip-de-doo-dah, okay? So, yeah, so that's why yesterday I had these conversations with the dealer, and I drove home, and I just kind of started thinking to myself, and, by 8 o'clock last night after cleaning my GT500, if you watch that video, EV age to ICE age, because here's the thing. I'm selling my electric vehicle, Ford F-150 truck, and now I'm back to the ICE age as far as the trucks go. I still have 2 Ford Mustang Mach-E's, and could I part with those? If the right number is thrown out there, I would possibly part with those. And some people are like, yeah, but you just have these electric vehicles, and you've talked numerous times about how you save all this fuel and money. Well, true, but, it's also a lot of debt that I'm carrying to make obligations and payments to, car payments, insurance, personal property tax. In the state of Virginia, you pay personal property tax on a vehicle, which can be anywhere from a few $100s to thousands of dollars. Just depends on the value of your vehicle. So, yeah, right, I'm saving money on buying gas, but if I shut a lot of vehicles, it's not even proportional for the amount of money I'm going to save on not having the debt. So, and yeah, so, I'm sure some people watching my channel are kind of like befuddled. They'll be like, you're the guy that buys all these cars all the time, and you've got a whole collection of cars, but yet now you're posting this video of you are shedding a bunch of cars, and it'll be 6 vehicles total that I've shed in the last 2 days, with this Raptor deal. The Raptor, think about this Ford Raptor, which I never even planned on buying. I wasn't even fixated on it. I was more fixated actually on finding another F-150 Tremor truck. And, and here it is. This Raptor truck has created this process of me shedding vehicles. And so some of you watch my channel may be like, I just don't kind of understand this guy, because he shows so many videos of going out and buying a new car or a used car. And now the guy's, showing a video of how he's getting rid of cars. Well, yes, it is befuddling, but really what it's more about is, more than ever, the used car market is at crazy prices. And for me, in my lifetime, I'm just, if you go out and buy a car, and regular old times, if you go out and buy a $50,000 car, that car is going to be worth about $38,000. Maybe 40, maybe. So, when you buy a new car, you're going to have to keep that car for quite a long time to justify, the money you spent. Otherwise, you're losing a lot of money of investment, and the next guy comes along and takes advantage of what you lost. Well, as everybody knows, everything's changed because the pandemic created such a hardship on workers and supplies. So the car industry is totally flipped upside down. And now the car industry is, all about the used car inventory. These dealers are scrambling for used car inventory because they're not getting shipments of new cars like they used to by any means. And for the Ford brand, technically they're not even getting shipments per se, because everybody's supposed to order the vehicle from them, and that's the only way they get inventory. I think that's a little debatable, because it seems like Koons Baltimore Ford had a lot of F-150 trucks sitting on their lot, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact detail. I'm not in their side of the business, but anyways, what I'm radiating back to you is, okay, so why are you doing this? Well, my gut instinct right now is, I've got a lot of debt, as you know, if you see how many vehicles I have. And so for me, my thoughts are, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me where I'm truly getting paid to get rid of my cars. And, unbeknownst to you, I have some other cars that have negative equity in them, because when you, like I said to you, you buy a brand new car and you turn around, you want to sell it, then, you're usually 10 grand plus upside down. And so I have a few cars that have negative equity that was buried into them from other cars. And that's been my story my whole life, because I buy cars all the time. You buy a car 50 grand and you keep it for a year, and you turn around and trade it back in, it's going to be worth 38 grand. Okay, you paid down some debt on it, blah, blah, blah. And the odds are you're still 10 grand upside down. You got sales tax, you got a lot of variables when you buy a car, extended warranty, gap, maintenance. And yeah, those are all prorated back to you. But the whole point is, when I would go out and buy cars, typically negative equity is rolled into that vehicle. excuse me. And, which the banks call it, the LV value, loan vehicle values, LOV or whatever. So the banks will buy like 120% over the value of a car. So a $50,000 car, a bank will buy 60 grand, if not more, in that car. Some MSRP, and it's a dangerous thing. I said this years ago. The banking industry letting you bury negative equity into a new car, it's a catch-22. Meaning the dealership gets to sell a car, but you as an individual, you now have a huge liability of the value of something that if you get yourself in financial dire straits, you're not going to be able to get rid of that car. It's going to be repossessed, and you're not going to have a debt. Ask me, how do I know this? How do I know how this all plays out in my lifetime? I've had some great years in my life. I've had some of the worst years of my life you can't believe. I've lost everything. It's happened more than once. Yes. So, I've been through the hardships. Yeah. Why? Because I'm a risk taker. And sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. That's just how life is. But anyways, so for me, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for me where I can take vehicles and I'm going to get paid out, and I can use other vehicles I have, like the Toyota Avalon. That vehicle's upside down. I should have never done it. I had a Toyota TRD Pro with that voodoo blue color, and sadly, the Toyota Tacomas, I love Toyota, but at the same time, the Toyota Tacoma truck, it is not a comfortable truck. It's just not a comfortable truck. And I've had so many of them. It's not me bashing Toyota, because I had two Toyota TRD Pros, 2017, 2018 model, and I thought those were great until the Ford Ranger came along, which the Ford Ranger is just more comfortable. I'm not saying the Ford Ranger, is the better of the Tacoma overall, but overall, I just like the Ranger setup, and it's just the old man's truck in my eyes. So, point is, I traded in my TRD Pro, and back then, this is pre-pandemic, they didn't give me great numbers on it, and that vehicle had negative numbers in that vehicle. So if you kind of followed, it's like a trail. I have a vehicle that I bought, that I traded something on that had negative equity put in it. So then I keep that vehicle for a while, and I trade that vehicle down the road, but that negative equity is still there that gets transferred to the next vehicle. So I can have a vehicle that was purchased 3, 4, 5 cars back that has negative equity into that car, 3, 4, the next car, the next car, the next car, the next car. So for the Toyota Avalon, sadly, what's happened there is that had negative equity buried into it. In the Avalon, it's not a sought-after car, the TRD product. So $42,000, $44,000 car, and I'm struggling to get $38,000 out of the damn thing, versus most of my other products that I have, it's been pretty close to MSRP, and even sometimes a little more than MSRP to get rid of the vehicle. So I've still owe more than that on that vehicle because of all the negative equity in it. And then other things that people don't understand is during the pandemic, my business and self during the pandemic took huge hardships. My business declined by a good 30 to 40%. My income dropped by a solid 30 to 40%. And for me, that's a significant amount of money. And the reason I bring that up is, last year, June of last year, I actually got rid of like 6 vehicles. Yes, I dumped a lot of vehicles last year. So I actually, downsized my fleet. And I was able to do it because of the used car market being the crazy pricing. So that's played to my advantage. Did I have to write some checks to get rid of things? Yes, I did. It wasn't cheap, but I wanted to get rid of debt. And then by August of last year, my business really came back to life. And what's kind of interesting, it kind of really came back to life close to 100%. Close. But then, the gas prices, the fuel industry, the economy, things are changing. So what I've witnessed so far is actually my business now this year is down a good 20%. It's down a good 20%. It's not hitting the numbers that I thought it would hit. And that's another reason that I'm like, how much longer can we continue to blow the feather in the air? Keep on push that feather up in the air that everything's beautiful. I mean, how much longer is it going to last? I hear stories from different people, what you believe and don't believe. I don't know. There's some people out there that claim that car repossessions are right now up 30%. Do I actually know that? I have no idea. But there's people out there saying that the car repo industry right now is on fire. People are having to let their cars go because they can't pay the bills. I don't know. I haven't really. And here's the thing: when that starts happening, that has a huge impact on the used car market because so many cars start populating to start changing things in supply and demand for used cars, and that's what it's all about right now. The used car market is kind of driving the market, but at the same time, used car market is coming down some. So it is actually like my GT500. I really don't want to get rid of that car, but at the end of the day, financially, that's the only choice you have. That's the choice you make. But the GT500, I would say it's lost 4 to 5K value since a year ago, which that's kind of hard to believe because the GT500 is not a dime a dozen car. But if all of a sudden dealers, like right now, Coons Baltimore Ford has 2 of the GT500, carbon fiber package. These are expensive cars. How long they sit there, I have no idea. But, they got a few of those, and other dealerships have used ones. So, so that starts to change the dynamics of the values. So going back to me, as far as what I got going on today, shedding 4 more cars when I just shed 2 yesterday. This is more about timing for me. I just feel like right now, more than ever, is an opportunity for me to shed a lot of debt and, kind of be prepared for the what if. And I think that, and this isn't the YouTube channel where I want to preach the gloom and doom, because I've said this so many times. There are so many guys out there that have YouTube channels, and all they talk about is the gloom and doom on how everything's going to come crashing down. For me, I think we're going to have an adjustment. I think it's already happening. The housing market, sales are now 6 months in a row of going down. Housing starts are down. I talked to people who own boat dealers. The traffic for them has gone down. RV dealers, the RV industry is actually idling many plants up in Indiana that make RVs. You can kind of tell the retailers. Yeah, I know. You get the stock market. I think the stock market is very dangerous to think that, that's a true indicator of what's going on, because it's been proven over and over again, a stock market that looks all healthy and great, and then just overnight it wipes itself out. We've witnessed this before. Younger people don't really know this because they haven't been around as long as I have and others watching my YouTube channel to witness how the stock market, it's all greed. I mean, there's so much greed in that market that short sellers, long sellers, all that stuff. I'm not in the market. I actually pulled a bunch of money out of the market last fall because I felt like it's kind of the peak was there, and I would sit it out for a while. My prediction is 20,000, stock market, 20K. It's at 33, 34, and I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're nuts. I know, I'm just throwing out there a number, but hey, it hit 29.8 here back in June. So you never know. But anyways, so I'm just more on the page right now that how much longer does the great value of your car, and if many vehicles I have, it's time to capitalize on what I think is the right move at this time, because it's down the road. If I really want another Bronco, it's early morning. I was up last night until like 10 o'clock out in the shop, swapping out trucks and all that other stuff. And so for me, more than ever is the time right now to get out of debt. And and what also, it opens up down the road for me, if I really want a second Bronco again, I've got one Bronco. I love my 4-door. That 2-door Bronco, for me, it's not, it's cool looking, but its usability, it's terrible. It really is. If you go to the grocery store and you open up the back, if you go to Costco, there's not enough room in that back area to put anything without putting the seats down. It just is too cramped. And then if you have people go with you to crawl in and crawl out of that back seat, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, it's just not. So the two-door Bronco, don't get me wrong, great vehicle, but is it really for me? No. And if you watch my videos, I kind of bought that thinking my daughter would really like it, and say she does like it, but she also gets in life. My daughter is not a spoiled brat. Somebody may think that. Nobody's ever said that, but they may think, oh my God, my daughter doesn't ask for stuff. I mean, I'm not lying. I just give her things. So she's not the one begging for things. I mean, now she sees something like at a car dealership, you see her get excited, and I get excited with her if it all makes sense. Yeah, Ford F-450. Dually? Yeah, right. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, so for my daughter, she's very understanding. She's a really hard worker. I can't emphasize enough. And, I only hope you brag about your kid. If you don't brag about your kid, then got me on that one. It's the only thing you got in your life, if you know what I mean. So she understands. My daughter, she gets it. She totally gets it. So for her, does she like that Bronco? She does. But here's the thing. She understands. Okay, Bronco or GT 50 Mustang, Bronco or the F-450. So she gets all this. She's like, no way. I want the Mustang and I want the F-450. So she understands you got to give, you have to give things up and take things, So anyways, she's behind me, as you know, as we head over here to Kuhn's Baltimore Ford, let that go. And once again, that's for me. Can I get another Bronco down the road? I can, but I like my four-door Bronco. That's more than enough for me. It's a great vehicle. Two-door vehicle. Two-door Bronco, hey, don't get me wrong. Everybody has a two-door Bronco. It's a beautiful vehicle, and I'm glad you have it. It's a great vehicle. I just prefer the four-door. That's just who I am. And I'm glad not everybody likes what I like. I talk about that all the time. I am glad you have what you like, and I'm glad I have what I like. So now, if you look at what's going on, for the Ford Bronco, right now, most people are a year out of getting one. That's why it has great value. But you have to stop and think. If this country does have a setback, if it does slow down, if people do start really pulling their money, and usually it's the wealthy people that start doing that first, and that's what I'm hearing. The big ticket items are not going out the door like they used to. So that's kind of a red flag if anybody's in there, wondering what's going on with the country right now. And so for me, as an individual, the Bronco, you go a year and a half, 2 years from now, is the Bronco still getting premium price? If the supply, issue catches up, then, all of a sudden the dynamics start to change when you go to a dealership and there's a decent amount of Broncos, used ones, sitting on the lot. So that, so there's one variable that's going to play out, I think. Here's the next one, the Ford F-150 Lightning truck. That truck for sure is going to hold its value for the next good year, maybe 2 years. But what will start to change that is, once again, what's the demand 2 years from now for it? And what if the architecture changes in it? Meaning mine is a 400 volt, 134 kilowatt battery, I believe. It's the extended range. And let's just say 2 years from now, Ford goes to the 800 volt architecture and now it has 150, 160 kilowatt battery, or the 800 volt gives it a more efficient battery system to recharge it and to get further distance, and all of a sudden that vehicle is now a 400, 450 range vehicle. So the value of that F-150 Lightning truck is still going to have great value. But is it going to be somebody's going to pay me 20 grand over? Is somebody going to pay $110,000, $120,000 for that, for that vehicle? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So, and I'm just a firm believer that down the road, if I really want to have another F-150 Lightning, and some people may say, hey, but that other F-150 Lightning, you're getting another one in. Well, it's for an employee of mine. It's really for him. It isn't for me. I had to order it for me. And initially, the plan is I'm going to buy it, my company name, and he's going to drive it for a while. And if he really likes it, then eventually he's going to buy it. If he doesn't really like it, then yeah, it's my vehicle. And, you know, that's fine. And yeah, do I turn around, flip that, and sell that? It's possible. If I got this vehicle here by October, you know, it's going to be a hot item and get good, you know, ADM on it for a good another 6 months would be my guess. If not, maybe longer, but how crazy, I don't know. All very debatable. And that's the thing. All it takes is something major to happen in this country and the dynamics change instantly. You know, God forbid, if we had a terrorist attack again like 2001, you know, if we had any major issue happen, the economics instantly change. You know, a car dealership is going to be like, whoa, you know, there's no way I'm paying that type of money for these vehicles because it's too risky. You know, you don't know if people are going to just turn off the spending money for a while because of the, you know, the impact of whatever happens country. And don't get me wrong, not by any means wishing this upon our country, but things do happen in the world that you never figured would happen. So yeah, you're probably saying, what about the Raptor truck, man? Look at this here. I'm at 17. That would be impressive. So now I'm at 17.1 miles per gallon. It's pretty neat. When you hit this button right here, it just automatically sets your adaptive cruise control. Yeah, will the hands-free driving be missed in the F-150 Lightning? Yeah, that was a nice feature. You know, no doubt about that. You know, it's interesting. You really hear these tires. You'd borderline think that this truck had, you know, the 37s on it. Yeah, and do I make this into a 37? And that's something that, you know, that's something my daughter asks me a lot. You know, she's like, Dad, why don't you do this to the car or do that to the car? You know, and for me, if I do anything kind of radical to a car, I'm such a car nut guy, right? Nut job, nut case. You know, some people are like, this guy's crazy. Yeah, okay, whatever. If I put a lot of money into a vehicle, that I customize it, you never get that back out of it. And that's why I hold off, because I'm constantly getting rid of vehicles. As my daughter, you know, my daughter's more the type of person that she'll keep a car. You know, there's no doubt in my mind, she'll just keep a car for a long time because she likes it so much. And, you know, she's a young kid. She's not going to have opportunity to do what I do. So, you know, the point being is, if you customize a car, what people don't understand about values of cars is bank values. Banks put a value on a used car. If you put 20 grand of customization on your car and you go to trade it in, you're not going to get paid 20 grand customization because the car's going to book out at whatever the other car is. So if you have a $50,000 Mustang that you're into 70 grand, the odds are they're going to offer you 40 grand for the car. You know, whatever the blue book value is the car is, they're not going to pay you for all those add-ons. And I know a lot of people get really mad about that, but it's because the dealership can't get the bank to buy all your add-ons. And the dealership isn't going to risk finding the guy that thinks your car is so cool, and they're going to spend an extra 15, 20 grand for your add-ons. They're not going to do it. So the point is, for me, it's just a total throwaway of money. But also, with having so many cars, it ties up a lot of cash flow and a lot of money that it just doesn't make any sense for me to do a lot of stuff to my cars because I've got so much money tied up in other vehicles as well. Now, if I was to downsize, which that's what I'm doing right now, yeah, would I maybe go to 37s on this? It's possible, but at the same time, 37s, what does that do to my fuel mileage? I mean, definitely the truck gets to look pretty cool. Definitely a little higher step, you know, so it's debatable. I don't know. We'll see as time progresses. I got my F-250 Tremor truck, which, you know, sits way up in the air and has a really, you know, nice look to it. So, but to do that, it would be a chunk of money. I mean, the amount of money you spend for tires these days, I can only imagine the 37s probably are $500 plus each. And I really haven't done my research, and I would assume they'd have a 17-inch wheel package or a 17-inch tire 37. I haven't even looked it up. I have no idea. Or do I have to go to an 18-inch wheel? So I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far into it, which is a good thing. So anyways, the 6 for 1 day, is that what we call it? Even though it's 2 days in. 6 for 1. Or EVH, back to Ice Age. Yeah, all right, follow me along as we continue the 6 to 1, 6 cars to 1 car, 1 truck. Raptor, badass truck, right? Is it the badass truck, right? Yeah, I know. You think you're Mr. Badass, so you drive around a Raptor, right? Yeah, that's what we do. Well, you know, we all have our passions and our, you know, our favorite thing, and for me, the Ford Raptor is my favorite thing. You know, that kind of brings something up. You know, the TRX. And this is not to bash the Ram TRX. The Ram TRX, I think it's a cool looking truck. I really do. I mean, I've thought about buying one. I really have. But at the end of the day, I've had so many Hellcats. Had 4 of them. The Hellcat motors. And I know the exhaust note. And I know the motors. And I know the vehicle. And I think the F-150 Super Snake truck kind of really opened my eyes up to the performance of these big trucks. And, you know, even the new Raptor R. Is that going to be badass? It'll be badass. But it's a lot of vehicle. You got a huge truck going down the road. And here's the thing. They don't drive like your Hellcat car does. I've talked about this numerous times in my other videos that a truck just doesn't, it's not nimble. You know, it's a lot of vehicle going down the road. So if you're thinking of getting your Raptor R and do your 100-mile-an-hour stints up and down the road, you know, you can, but it's a lot of vehicle. And it doesn't react the same as a car. It's going to take a lot of power to stop that thing. And it's just not the same. And the inertia, the resistance of the wind factor against that big-ass, you know, vehicle just overtakes it and kills it. And that's what happens to that F-150 Super Snake. That truck, when you get into it, I was talking about it yesterday, when you get into that truck, once you hit that 80-mile-an-hour, you know, it's like it hits a wall. It just hits an inertia of energy, of the gravity effect of that vehicle trying to go down the road, and it just overtakes that truck because it's just a big box going down the road. That big front end. Well, it's the same thing. The Ram TRX, I've driven it. I've nailed it. I've done all that stuff. Yeah. Is it cool? Yeah, but does it give you that same inertia feel as you get out of your car? No, you don't. Yeah, I mean, does it kick you back a little bit? Yeah, but it isn't like a car. So anybody that's selling their Hellcat to buy a Ram TRX, you're going to find out very quickly. It's like, yeah, it's fast, but it's not what you think it is. You know, it's misperceived. And so I have a lot of people out there that you should have bought the Ram TRX. Like, I just don't want the Ram TRX. There's a kid. Hey, kid.
Joe is passing you.
I know, I like it. That's great. This is great. This is great for the video. So we're gonna do a reverse. And Joe, who works for me, here he comes. There's the F-150 Lightning right there. That's funny. So we'll get a, well, that truck is so super fast. So we will, that's pretty classic. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So I'm going to get a video of you. That thing's dangerous fast, man. I mean, that thing hits 100 like nothing.
What, your truck or this truck?
That truck.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, you're just cruising down the road. Yeah, I'm just taking my good old time here, doing my YouTube video, and that's pretty cool that you got the truck up there. We'll tame her up, and I don't want to get Julie in trouble, so you got to keep in mind for me.
No. I'll slow it down.
You know what I mean? I just can't.
I was trying to get it. I was getting around you guys and then getting clear. I'm gonna slow it down now. But I was talking to Tommy Klein. I was telling him what was going on. I saw that yellow Bronco, and I was like, there they are.
Yeah, no. It's a 6 for 1 day, Joe. 6 vehicles for the Raptor. The Raptor started all this. Is this?
So you're not even? Are you not even getting the Heritage?
Oh no, heck no. No way.
Okay, so you're just unloading. All right.
Oh yeah, man. I'm just taking advantage of the car market. Like, you know as well as I do, how much longer does it last?
Oh yeah, and you'll be able to pick all these cars up for $10K off next year this time.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
as soon as once all the repos go through, like the market's gonna be so inundated. I mean, yes, these are like high-line cars, so they will sustain the market better than most. But I mean, come on, like this market is just stupid right now. It's like the housing market of 2007, like when people are paying $300,000 over what the house would be. It's just, it makes no discernible sense.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good looking Raptor.
Oh, thank you.
I like the little red little trims on it.
Isn't that nice? I know, I like it. I wish they would have done red accents inside though. That would have made it really cool. The leather.
They're doing that on the F-150 Tremors. I've seen the F-150 Tremor. I saw that when you had me look at that one down in Florida. There's a brown one, or like that kind of like, I would call it doo-doo brown, but it's like the brown package that they do for the Tremors, and it has all the orange highlights everywhere.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire exterior and interior. It looks very good.
Oh yeah, right. No, I know.
But,
but it's just so funny. What's so funny though is that this Raptor started this whole momentum.
Yeah, so it's always Derek. No, it's Derek. It's Derek that started this whole thing.
I hear you.
Because didn't he tell you I have a part for you? Oh no, he told you he had a part for you.
Yeah, that box, that accessory box. Oh right.
Yeah, they didn't even order.
So last night.
That just tells me right there that they said.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
They ordered. They say let's order this $350 accessory box.
Yep.
Comes in. We tell them we got parts in for him, and then off of that $350 that we spent, we just made $50,000.
Oh, more than that. They got 6 cars.
I know. They're making out like a bandit.
Yeah. Well,
like a bandit.
Well, so I ripped out the bed rug and the tonneau cover last night.
Well, I see that.
Last night I started that project at 8:45.
You had to do that. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
If you didn't have another one coming, I would have said leave it. But with one going to be here in the next month or two, And I was going to ask that you give me a bed rug anyway. So there you go.
Oh yeah, we'll get it. I'll get it no matter what. I mean, no matter what, I'm going to get a bed rug and cover for the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to move to the left lane here.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, right. I know. We've lost our momentum. All right, so we're going to go to McDonald's to get breakfast. If you want to meet us there, it's right next door to the. It's right before you get to the dealership on the right hand side, next to the Exxon station.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you. Bye.
I'll see you there.
Yep.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was telling Joe, I don't want to do crazy speeds across this road with you driving because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Okay.
We just can't do that. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, this road's an 80 to 90 mile an hour road, and I just don't want to expose you to that. So that's all. And Joe didn't think about that. So Joe now, is basically like, yeah, he gets it. So he didn't really know what's going on though. So he's kind of in the dark of what was going on. He thought I was buying that Heritage Edition, GT500 Mustang. See, last time I talked to him about all this yesterday, I was at the dealership and we started down the path of that GT500 carbon fiber track package, and I was like, I just sat back, thought, nah, I don't want to do this. So he's thinking we're driving over this morning to get that.
No.
You know what I mean? So you doing all right?
Yes.
Alrighty. And I told Joe to meet us at McDonald's and we'll have breakfast.
Okay. I want an egg McMuffin with a hash brown.
Okay. Righto.
Okay.
Yep. Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alright, so there you go. I got my drivers. I was trying to get my wife up this morning to help out. That'd have been awesome. But she didn't even know what's going on. I mean, that's how I am. My wife, literally this morning, I texted her at 6 a.m. this morning and said, hey, can you help me drive cars over? And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, and then I didn't even see her till like 7:30. And she's like, I walked back in the house. She's like, what are you doing? What's going on? It's like, are you buying another car or something? I'm like, no. So she's like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, if you find somebody to live with you and put up with your antics, you've done well. You've done really well in life. You better keep them. We all have our imperfections. Yeah, well, yeah, look at me, right? So anyway, so yeah, if my wife would have helped out, then we would have had 3 cars over. I would have only had 1 more car, and I could have just brought the sales guy back with me back to my house, and he could have taken the next car, and it would have been over. So that would have been the ideal situation. But oh well, the wife has to work, and take care of things. So I get it. So now the odds are, hopefully, my sales guy and another guy can come back. I don't know how they'd fit in here. Yeah, so to make that work, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. Or I just have to drive back again and bring my sales guy, and we drive the Mach 1 and the Avalon, and we drive those back. And so, yeah, I may be doing this trip double, but it is what it is. And, that's what I was saying earlier. It's all about timing. It's all about timing, And if you're a car dealership, you run a car dealership, as well as I know that you have to move forward. When somebody's right there to buy a car, if you don't take advantage of that, the guy walks out the door, it's a 50-50 shot that guy comes back. It's probably 80% chance he doesn't come back. All right, moving along here and share some more stories as time progresses, right? Even though I talked about Dodge the other day, and what Dodge is doing, and boy, I tell you what, so Dodge, if I talked about this, but just to kind of refresh it, Dodge is totally going electric, and they're using all the European flair for their product, and I can't believe that their Hornet's the big reveal, the Dodge Hornet, which is just an SUV. But you know what? Tim K yesterday was saying in the video, or 2 days ago, that was the Wednesday video, that the car sales are dead. Car sales are now 4-to-1. So basically, it's people are buying SUVs and trucks over cars. So it's a 4-to-1 ratio. For every 4 sales of vehicles, 1 will be a car. So the cars are dying out. The whole car platform is just slowly moving out. Oh, here's my sales guy. Let me check on him. Wow, this is pretty crazy. If this vehicle stays in the 17 miles per gallon range, if it even hit 18, I don't know if I'll hit 18 or not. If I toned it down, I probably could, but that would be phenomenal. That would be incredible, because my F-150 Tremor truck, that was like a 16, 17 mile per gallon vehicle. I'd maybe get 18, but to think this has 35-inch tires on it, and it sits up higher, and it's a wider, bigger vehicle than an F-150 Tremor. That's pretty phenomenal. Not bad at all. Yesterday I was getting a little worried if I saw 13 miles per gallon. That's something also that I talk about, that Ram TRX. I would say that's a 13 mile per gallon vehicle. If you're around town, I bet you people would be telling you it's 8, 9 miles per gallon. So for me, I just drive so much that, having a 13 mile per gallon vehicle, not like 17's fantastic, but it's better than 13. If it was 11 to 12, and that's one of the reasons I never bought a Trackhawk, because I've had the Jeep SRT previous generation back in 2006, not the Hellcat setup, but the SRT 420 horsepower V8, and it didn't do bad on mileage back then. Respectable, maybe. Can I even remember? But so the new Trackhawk, I've had opportunity many times to buy that, but that's a 12, 13 mile per gallon vehicle. I'm thinking it's probably 11. And so for me, you know, I just think, Jesus Christ, I just can't, you know, I'm going to drive 150 miles. Today, if we go back and forth to Baltimore, this is going to be a 250 mile day for me. You know, so if you can drive around a vehicle and gets 10 miles a gallon, 11, that's 25 gallons of gas. You know, and in today's $4 gas, that's $100. That's just one day. You know, for me, I can get up tomorrow morning and do it all over again and go 150 miles. You know, so for me, you know, you're spending conservative $50 to $70 a day. You know, that gets old. I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody who has these gas guzzling vehicles, you know, if you're listening to my channel, you know, you go to the gas station one day, put $100 in your car, okay, big deal. A day later, 2 days later, you do it all over again, you're like, 2 days later after that, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. You know, you spent $300, $400, $500 in 1 week to drive your car just in gas. You know, the good news for me is I know some are like, well, you're giving up your F-150 Lightning. Yeah, but I got 2 Mach-E's. I'm telling you right now, the Mach-E, for what I do, for the most part, is just a better overall vehicle for what I'm doing. And as we learned with that F-150 Lightning truck, that ain't no tow vehicle. I mean, forget it. You know, for me to think I'm going to drive to Tennessee with that vehicle, no thank you. That's too much of a pain in the butt. So, can you do it? Yeah, you can do it, but I'll pass. And at the end of the day, we're going to ran the numbers. Once you're paying 43 cents plus a kilowatt, you know, you're not that far ahead of me driving my F-250 diesel truck or me driving this vehicle down. You're not that far ahead. You haven't saved hundreds of dollars on energy and fuel costs. It doesn't happen. You're going to save maybe $20, $50, maybe for all the aggravation. No, thank you. You know, I'll pass. You know, so yeah. Well, what do you know now? The anti-EV guy? Not at all. I'm more the guy that I just benefited from buying an EV vehicle. I mean, if I was to sell my Mach-E's, yeah, I wouldn't make much money off of those because, yeah, I paid ADM on the Grabber Blue and I paid ADM on the freaking white one. So, and I put negative numbers into the white one of trading 2 vehicles for that. So that would just be a wash if I do that. But something you got to remember too is I get tax credits. Right? Well, as you know, I'm not going to take the one tax credit on the F-150 Lightning. I can't do that because I've turned around and I'm selling it. So that's not a big deal because it's not the end of the tax year and I'm not qualifying that. But on my Mach-E's, I can take tax credits, and as long as I keep those, you know, that's worth $15,000 in tax credits. The F-150 Lightning truck, that's debatable. If my guy doesn't want it and I end up buying it and keeping it, there's another $7,500. You know, so for me this year, I could be talking, you know, potentially 22.5 in tax write-offs between the 3 vehicles, not including, you know, me using them for business and depreciating them that as well. That's what people understand. I own a business, so I get to take tax write-offs, but at the same time, you have to be very careful on that. If you take a tax write-off on something, then you turn around and sell it, then it's a profit. You can't do that, you know. So you got to be very careful when you're buying vehicles and you're selling them. So for me, you know, you have to be careful. If you put a tax deduction on a vehicle and then you sell it down the road, you know, that turns into a profit center. You know, it's more. There's a lot of variables there, but anyways, I'm just trying to radiate to you that you have to be careful on this tax stuff that people take advantage of when buying cars and getting deductions and write-offs, and that's what I do have. And you know, so but if I trade for a trade to offset it, there's a lot more in depth to that for the tax man to figure out. That's why I have a tax man. They let him figure all out. Anyways, we're getting here close to the Koons Dodge, and you know what? That's what it used to be back in the day. It used to be all about Koons Dodge in Falls Church, Virginia. You go back to the late 90s and 2000 years, that's where I went all the time to buy, you know, my Dodge products. It was trucks though, it wasn't cars. You know, I was buying all Dodge trucks. I wasn't buying Dodge cars. You know, back until late 2000, I think 2005 or 6. I think 2006 when I bought my first Dodge Charger SRT, if I remember right, a silver one. Yep, so all right, getting close here. And to wrap it up with the Ram TRX, some of you guys buy the Ram TRX. I don't want the TRX. I don't want it. Okay, well, it'll smoke this. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, whip-de-doo-dah. You can go your 100 miles an hour down the road in your Ram TRX. Have fun. This thing will go 100 miles an hour. Okay, you'll beat me there. I don't. It isn't about that. The Raptor truck is about the ride. It's just a whole different animal. You know, I mean, and some people are claiming that people go out there and run these things. And all right, here's the kid again. Let me take that. What's going on, baby?
Guess what came back?
The crack?
Yep.
How bad?
It's not that bad, but like it's there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's the little one, the little like star.
Yeah.
Okay, well, oh well.
How long have you been recording videos with wheels attached to your lips you could drive to Florida?
Say what?
If you had wheels attached to your lips, you could drive to Florida.
Nice, gee, nice. Oh, you're Giggles. Mrs. Giggles. All right, so we're going to go up here to McDonald's, which is just up the road here, and get you some breakfast. Oh, geez. You got a little problem there with your GERD? Got some GERD? Yeah, drinking coffee early in the morning? Got GERD, right? Hey, wow, I hit 18 miles per gallon. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's hard to believe, man. That's awesome. Well, if you're not radical in this thing, that's very impressive. I get 18 miles per gallon.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, we'll see you at McDonald's.
Okay, see you later.
Alrighty, bye-bye. Yeah, the kid's talking about when you're heading back from Florida to Tennessee. She was following me in my the F450 in the motorcycle trailer. She got a little chip in the windshield, and so, you know, anyways, I called the 3-in-1 glass protection, blah blah blah, this, that, this, and you know, and took it, and sure enough, that's such a the stuff you buy aftermarket, the tire and wheel package is well worth it, because trust me, I've used that, and any more of these tires and wheels, as you know, are very, very expensive. And you know, so for the amount of money you spend for that package, it's well worth the money spent. The windshield thing, it's borderline a joke, because they don't replace your windshield. So if you get a chip in your windshield, if it's fixable, they'll pay to repair it. If it's not fixable, you have to get a new windshield. So what she's talking about is, I had the windshield repaired. It cost $100. I haven't even submitted the claim to the frickin', you know, people yet. And, you know, but now she's telling me that little crack has reappeared a little. So, yeah, okay, well, how does that play out? Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about it, because Jesus Christ. How many cars have I given this dealership? How much business have I given this dealership? How many cars have I bought from them? I would say conservative. I started doing business with these guys in 2018, January 2018, if I'm correct. I believe. I would say 20 plus cars at least. At least. I'm not even including the other Ford dealers down in Sterling, Kuhn Sterling Ford. If you add between the two of those dealerships, have I bought 30, 40 Fords or something from them? I don't even know. Do I even want to know? I don't know. All right. Here we come up to McDonald's. What are you saying?
I'm just saying it's very annoying when people tailgate you.
Yeah, well, good Lord. You know who Popcorn is? That guy about ran me over my motorcycle. I ain't lying. Oh my gosh, back years ago, like in 2015, Popcorn followed me to the Harley dealer down there in Tennessee on my motorcycle, and down there at that
In
merge.
Tennessee?
Yeah, in Tennessee, I was down there we were down there at Omi's house, and he was following me over the Harley dealer. You know, when you go past Cracker Barrel, you come up you have to yield there to stop at the light to get up the road on 26.
Yes, I have to pee really bad. Can you please tell me this after I pee?
Okay. Bye-bye. Hey, look at this badass lightning truck right here. Is that like badass or what? Isn't or isn't it? There you go. All right. Get out and get some breakfast. I wish they'd put an electric brake automatic on these things. All right. How was F-150 Lightning? It's a lot. It's a lot of vehicle, man. It's a lot of. But it rolls. It has a bit of a roll to it.
With extremely spongy suspension.
Say what?
I say it's too spongy for how quick it is.
It is. I know.
You
see the battery pack.
It's why it needs a stiffer ride.
How do you accomplish that?
Dad, yesterday I thought you were saying it does have a stiff ride.
It's an old man's truck. It's like the Ranger.
That's funny. All right, everybody's got a full stomach. So Joe here is saying that thing's squishy, which it is. It does float down the road more than you realize. Okay, there's the kid. It's not back into anybody, right? All right, kid. There's such a big difference in these gas engines or these electric vehicles. I mean, because, you know, it's that torque. It's the inertia that you get out of these electric vehicles. I mean, you know, just so instantaneous. You know, so when you drive these electric vehicles, that truck, then you drive this vehicle, yeah, does this thing have, you know, get up and go? It does. But compared to that, I mean, it's just night and day. Now, the other day I was here, you know, sadly, these dealerships, thievery is a problem. I mean, they don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. But I know for a fact right now that one dealership had a Hellcat Charger stolen this past Sunday. I'm not talking about this dealership, I'm talking about our dealership. Then they had a Jaguar stolen, a Jaguar SVR performance SUV stolen the following night, and a guy was so brazen, he came in the dealership with a mask on, and he test drove the car, came back in, he gave the guy the keys back. They were fake keys. One of the keys, the guy came back that night with the real keys that he switched out, and the sales guy stole the car. And now I'm being told that another dealership, it's a Dodge Jeep dealership, they've had 19 vehicles stolen so far this year. The Dodge brand is the worst when it comes to security on the vehicles. They're so hackable. The Dodge computers are always talking, so you can get into them with a computer and hack them and start them up and go away. Dodge has the worst system. Just incredible. All right, here we are. Here we are back again and again and again and again and again. There's a 150 Lightning Pro. There goes the kid. All right. The last time we seen these, us driving them.
Lightning looks so basic.
It's a Pro. It's a mannequin.
It's a mannequin?
Yep.
Which means what?
They have to put it on the lot for 6 months. People can test drive it, and then they get to sell it. So it's a real basic model.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be the extended range. Yeah.
That's the base?
This here, a Mach 1? Oh no, that's an automatic actually. That's a good looking car. But it's the race version. It has the race tires on it. You know, so which I don't like that. But it's Recaro seats. I don't like that.
Wheels are a lot better though.
Oh no, it's a really good looking vehicle. All right, let's go in here and see our buddies. All right, so another car is leaving. It's a really nice car. Yikes. How do I let that one go, right? Yeah, I hear you. Bye-bye, Mach 1. All right, so here's the Avalon. You know, this is a really cool car. It's TRD. Kind of a shame it's not getting better value, but you know, it's a nice car. It is a fun car. It's a big luxurious car. Started up, thank goodness. I wish I haven't driven this thing for 4 or 5 months. Be my guess. So, I guess, okay. Kid's gonna drive this one. It's right into park. Why doesn't Ford figure this out? I mean, I don't touch anything. You just put this thing in park, and it goes right into parking brake. All right, got the Kid all set up. See here, it's TRD package. It's a nice car. Looking for a fact I have so many cars. So come on, Kid. You got it. See, a nice little exhaust. It's a great car. Whoever gets this will be very impressed. All right, I'm gonna grab the water. All right, so the continued adventure. So now the second trip back to the dealer. So I brought back one of the my sales guy, and he's driving the Mach 1 back, as you just saw in the video there. Now my kid's driving the Toyota Avalon, and is she gonna move up far enough for me to get the heck out of here? All right, it's just never simple, is it? Geez, what a project, right? The car addictions. Now, the car addictions should be very expensive and a lot of time. Anybody out there buying cars probably understands this. So, but now, you know, everybody following the video today, you can see what's going on, getting ready these cars. And so I got back to the dealership, and one of the general sales managers there, he wasn't in yesterday, so he's there today, and he's like, buy the Heritage Edition Mustang. I'm like, it's the carbon fiber package. I don't really know if I really want that. I'm just not really, you know, it's the carbon fiber wheels, which the carbon fiber wheels on those cars are temperamental, but you know, it's a badass looking car. So he's just heck bent wanting to sell that car to me. That's what's going on right now. So we've left the dealership, got the Toyota Avalon take back, the Ford Mach 1 take back, and so now the general sales manager guy, he's on the page and he wants me to buy that Mustang Heritage Edition, which are supposedly is only 225 of those being built. Now, you know, this car is a really cool looking car, no doubt. You know, as far as the price of the car, it's not really out of the far range of what most of these GT500 track pack, carbon package, you know, setup. You know, it's a $115,000 car, and he's wanting to get 10K over on the car. They really want to get 25 grand over, but they know that I ain't gonna do that, and I don't even know if I'll buy the car. I mean, here's the ball game. You know, I like my GT500. Do I let it go for that? Oh my goodness gracious. So anyway, so he's just adamant wanting me to buy that car, and I'm like, you know, all right. So I said, all right, you go ahead and just run some numbers. I'll be more than happy to look at whatever numbers you figured out, and I don't know, I guess we'll look at it. So wouldn't that be ironic if, you know, the next video is me driving home a GT500 Heritage Edition that I never even had on the radar screen, and letting go of my GT500. Yeah. Is that going to happen today? I mean, I sincerely doubt that's going to happen. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. But anyways, you know, the real focus is, okay, so let's just say I did do that deal, and I give up the GT500. So then it'd be a 7 for 2 deal. I got rid of 7 vehicles for 2 vehicles. Yeah. Well, follow me along in the adventures as adventures continue. And the Raptor, the Raptor created all its problems. Weren't Raptors back in the dinosaur ages troublemakers? So does it kind of fit the personality? People buy Raptors, they're just troublemakers. Is that what it is? Yeah. Well, you probably can say yeah. So there's the kid behind me, and that's a good-looking car. I mean, that Avalon is a great car. I just can't believe, here's the ball game. It's a $42,000 car, brand new, probably 44 now, be my guess. And I'm struggling to get 38 grand. I was really hoping to get 40, 42 out of that car. But nope, and I get it. So it's not like the sought-after car, but somebody's going to pick that car up. And I get it. They got to figure they're going to get 42 for it. They got to be careful. Pay me 42 for it and try to get 45, 46 out of it. It's going to be a stretch for them. That's how it all works. So, but whoever gets that car, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's a beautiful car. It's a great road car. It's a beautiful car. And it wasn't for me just having so many other vehicles. Yeah, exactly. Right. All right. Follow me along. But geez, we came back in. There was this guy putting along. There was a guy in front of us, barely doing the speed limit. And it's just this is this type of road where people just putt down the road and you're stuck behind them because it's double line. And, oh yeah, so one of my subscribers, now I understand, as a YouTube person, I just make videos because I like to talk a lot. Have you noticed? I just enjoy making videos. And so one gentleman who really likes the F-150 Lightning, he just notified me that since I've sold F-150 Lightning, there's nothing more here for him to watch, and he's going to unsubscribe. Which I'm kind of disappointed to hear that, because I still have 2 Mustang Mach-E electric vehicles. I have an F-150 Lightning truck coming in, and for anybody to look at me and hear me and know my story, to say that I'm not going to be buying more electric vehicles, I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, in all sincereness, opens the door up to buy a Rivian. Do I want a Rivian? I don't. I think the Ford F-150 Lightning thing is kind of where I would stay right now on the truck side, but who knows? I mean, come on. Would you ever picture it a week ago you'd be watching this video of me shedding 6 vehicles? The Ford Raptor started all this. I mean, come on. So anyways, sorry to hear that the one gentleman is unsubscribing, but at the same time, it's all about content. And if you're watching videos where you're not learning much, I get it. I understand. It's just like, I don't want to watch the video because I'm not learning anything. There's nothing entertaining. It's all about the entertainment factor on YouTube channel. Is you're learning something, you're watching something that makes you laugh, or making you something you're appalled, or something different, just to break up the day. And so if that content isn't being given to you through a YouTube channel like mine, if I'm not entertaining somebody by my uniqueness and antics that I do that aren't common in everybody else, you're just not going to watch my channel. You're just like, it's boring. I get all that. I understand. But you know what? I just like sharing my stories, and I think that I give some information that maybe helps you out. Or does it? You're probably like, yeah, don't hang out with a guy like you, right? Jesus Christ, it's Friday! Worst day of the week to be on the damn road. It's just traffic everywhere. But anyways, hey, Jesus Christ, what a day. I'm freaking working, getting cars changed around. How crazy am I, right? What dilemma do you put yourself in, right? It's all my fault, right? Yeah, I get all that. So the kid, thank goodness, is hanging tight with me, following me around as I work, which that's not simple with all this traffic. And so now we're hemming and hawing over the Heritage Mustang, which it is a beautiful car. And I've called a few of my buddies at other dealerships, and they're telling me they're getting $40K over sticker on the Heritage Edition. That, be so lucky to get one. And yeah. So here's the deal. I mean, I ain't doing that. This dealership's, they're wanting 25 over. We're down to 10 over. Do I do the deal with 5 over? Ooh, yikes. Oh my gosh. But here's the thing. I called my buddy and I said, what's this thing worth 2 years down the road? If it, you know, everything goes to hell in my life, if I have to unload this thing, what's it worth? So he claims that if I keep it low mileage, 2 years from now, he'd still give me $5,000 over sticker. Now, we all know if the world comes to an end and the economy comes crashing down, yeah, right, that conversation goes south like everything else. But he's claiming right now that he said he'd pay 10 over in a heartbeat for it. So I don't know. We're still kind of negotiating through on this. So is that the next video? Hey, I just bought a GT500 Heritage Edition Mustang. And you know what? I still remember seeing that, you know, being released. Ford introduced that. And my first inclination was, oh my gosh, here we go. Somebody's going to pay $50,000 over sticker to get that damn thing. I want nothing to do with it. And, you know, so in all reality, I was just like, I'm not interested because I already know that it's going to be stupid pricing. Which, you know, yikes. And, you know, I'm not really the track guy. So, I mean, part of me is like, is it worth it? I mean, it's a beautiful car, though. There's one thing for sure. That's a car. It's just an incredibly beautiful car. It is a gorgeous car. So, you know me. So, I don't know. You know me, right? What's the next video? Hey, looky here. I just picked up a new GT500 Heritage Edition. Yeah, right. Awesome, right? Or nope. Yeah, what's the odds? If anybody watch my video, is it an 80% chance I buy it? 50% chance I buy it? 20% chance I buy it? What do I do now? So if I do the deal, it's a 7-for-2 deal. Yikes, right? You know, with the Ice Age for Dodge, Ice Age is over. I mean, I ain't lying. The Ice Age is done for Dodge. You have one more year you can order a Hellcat, and then after that, it is over, beyond over. So, you know, and for Ford doesn't seem to be radiating that message. Ford is kind of making it sound like they're going to continue to put ICE engines in these things. I mean, my speculation is, why would they do away with the V8 Coyote motor? Why would they get rid of the Predator motor? So, you know, is Ford, I mean, if I heard Ford was ending the Ice Age on these Mustang GT500s, but here's the problem with that, if that got out, the problem with that is all of a sudden this thing would go even more expensive because they already know you can't get these things anymore. So, you know, so how does that all play out? You know, yikes is more like the word on that. Oh my gosh, the traffic's just, Fridays, just a joke. You get all the yahoos out on the road. You know, here's a guy loaded up with so much stuff. Now my kid, I don't know where she is. I'm probably gonna lose her. That guy's not even doing the speed limit. You know why? Because he's got so much crap in his truck to come flying out, right? Into your nice brand new Raptor. Oh, yeah. The excitement continues, or does it? You know, some people are like, pressing. You just got rid of your F-150 Lightning. You just got rid of your Bronco two-door. You just got rid of your Mach 1. Yeah, I know, really. I mean, why aren't I crying? Shouldn't I be crying? I mean, some people are like, why the hell are you even doing this? Well, it's because I see an opportunity to get out of a lot of cars with premium value right now, with the exception of that freaking Toyota Avalon. And you know, just get out of the debt and open the door for something else. That's my wife's concern is, oh, you're going to get rid of all these cars, but then it's just going to create something else. Yikes. Why would I do that? Misinformation, right? All right, here we come up to the big flag, Koons Baltimore Ford. Koons Ford Baltimore. And, you know, how many times have I driven up here in the last 2 days, right? And Jesus Christ, here's the thing. If I get the GT500 from these guys, yeah. Do I come back again? I mean, good Lord. Oh, my gosh. All right, so here we go. And there's the Lightning parked and the Bronco parked and the Mach 1 parked. So I guess we get the kid to drive the Avalon. Yeah, but how do you like that blinker? Is it driving you nuts yet? Yeah. Why aren't I buying the C8 Corvette? You know, me being such a Corvette guy so many years ago, why wouldn't I be driving the Can I even make this turn? Maybe. Can the kid make this turn? Maybe. Let's see if she does it. Okay. Yeah, tight. You know, car dealerships, does it make any sense? Car dealerships, you can't park anywhere. Let's park everything right here.